So the Energy Efficiency Directive requires member states to reach annual energy efficiency targets over the years. And member states can adopt both energy efficiency obligation schemes and or alternative measure schemes in order to reach such targets. The ENSMOV project is here to support national authorities in reaching such targets. And today we are here with Joe Durkan from the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland to get some useful tips on how to make existing schemes better or to design new schemes. So Joe, thank you for being here with us. And can you tell us something about the Irish Energy Efficiency Obligation Scheme?
Sure. Thank you, Dario, for having this conversation. In Ireland, we have adopted a combination of an obligation scheme and alternative measures. And the alternative measures are certain government programs, building regulations, and other grant programs that will deliver energy savings. But about 66%, 63% of our Article 7 target is in the form of an obligation scheme. Our obligated parties are major oil, gas, electricity, and solid fuel energy sellers. We have 11 obligated parties, but one of those is a representative body group for all of our oil companies. Each obligated party is awarded a target that's more or less proportional to their volume of sales. And each obligation is split further into a non-residential target, 75%, a 20% residential target, and a 5% domestic target. It's not cumulative, but it's additive. So an obligated party's target in 2014 carries into 2015 as increased, and so on until the end of this year in 2020. And so far, we have delivered just under 4,500 gigawatt hours of energy savings from our obligation scheme, with some time left to run in this year.
Okay, perfect. Well, speaking about monitoring, reporting, and verification on or MRV, as usually we call it, what difficulties have you met over the years, and how have you been able to improve the process?
That's a good question. The difficulty is always in how do you verify the projects. At the very beginning, we did have a voluntary agreement from 2012 to 2014. And in that voluntary agreement, we allowed companies to create measurement and verification plans. So if you like, it's ex ante. Essentially, they would say, we are going to do this, and if we do this, it will deliver this amount of savings. And then they would come back and say, there we are, we did that project, and can we have this amount of savings? But that wasn't verification. That was just saying we did the project. So we have evolved it over the years so that for non-residential, for large energy projects, they have to do proper measurement and verification systems. So sometimes that's metering, sometimes that's proper monitoring, sometimes it can be engineering calculations, but backed up with actual physical parameter data. And we try and hang it on a framework. So we hit along this idea very early on that from where we sit, so SEAI, the Energy Authority, we administer the scheme for our Department of Energy Communications, our Climate and Communications. And ultimately, they are responsible for reporting to Europe. So we report savings to our department, who then report them on to Europe. The obligated parties report savings to us. And so we thought that's kind of like a product, that the energy saving, the kilowatt hour, or an energy credit, we call it, is like a product. And when you're talking thousands of gigawatt hours, that's billions of kilowatt hours, that's lots of product. So a good approach to looking at that is something like a quality system. Now, the Article 7 and Annex 5 of the directive actually requires you to have good management systems in place and a good measurement and verification process. And one of the ways you can do that is by, in our case, we implemented ISO 9001 for our obligated parties. Two reasons for that. One is that once you're in the suite of ISO 9001, things like ISO 50001, which is an energy management system, start to make sense. And if you're dealing with companies, you can help them enable energy management systems to ISO 50001, and then they will automatically report in the language that you require. ISO 50015 is the standard that governs measurement and verification, but there's also another parallel standard called IPMVP, the International Protocol for Measurement and Verification, but that's quite similar. And if you do one, it's the same as doing the other. And things like ISO 14001 is an environmental standard that many companies adopt. So if you have an obligated party and they have to verify the quality of the energy savings that they are delivering to us, it means that they have to deal with companies who already have a system in place. And so they are more likely to work with ISO 50001 companies who will have proper energy managers and proper energy planning, and more importantly, the ability to identify energy opportunities. The quality aspect means that works that are carried out have to be done by people who are competent. They have to ensure that the measures are fully commissioned and working properly, and they have to put in some sort of maintenance regime to ensure they continue to work. And all of that hang off a well-structured quality system. And so not only can we verify the accuracy of the savings being reported, but we can make a pretty good statement that those savings will last, that they have been installed correctly, and they will continue to deliver savings for the lifetime of the measure. And in the new directive, that will be very important, because lifetimes, and particularly decline of savings over time, are starting to take precedence in how savings are being reported. And I think with this framework, we're in a good position to take advantage of that.
Okay, thank you. It's very interesting. You make a good use of the existing technical standards in order to succeed with your scheme. And I think that this kind of examples can be found on the ENSMOV website. So I suggest everybody have a look at ensmov.eu. You will be able to find, for example, the snapshots about energy efficiency obligation schemes and alternative measures all over Europe in all the member states. And you can find the guidance, you can find reports on specific topics, and you can find the results, the registration of webinars, like the one about AMRV that is available among the proceedings on the ENSMOV website. So thank you very much for being with us. Please remember to subscribe to our newsletter and join our webinars and our activities. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dario.